Hello, I am Tomato, and this is my first entry on my video diary account. I am 18 tomato years old, and I apologize for the voice changer if it annoys the people who stay and watch. I just hope some of my stories are relatable to some of you at least. Currently, my life is a lot. I honestly think this might be the darkest spot I've been within a long time. Or maybe even my whole life, if I were to think about it. It's just been a lot this whole month. Or maybe even this whole year. I won't go too much into this. Maybe in another entry I will. But I'm currently, trying to get through a breakup of 3 years. I won't say a lot about what happened, maybe in the future, when I'm a little bit more over it. But I want him back. Yes. I want him back so bad. And I know a lot of people wouldn't approve of that because of the stuff he's done. But, the heart wants what it wants, and I can't really make up my mind and try to ignore those feelings. Because if I do, I just feel more miserable. So I might as well admit to it that I want him back really bad. At least he is standing on business. Because even though he says that he also wants me back, he says that he can't. And, it's confusing to me. Because it's a really simple answer. If you feel a certain way, just act on it. But, again, I won't go into that too much. Maybe later, when I'm over it a little bit more. But I will start off with a little bit of a summary of my year and what has led up to the, depressing months of my life currently. I began 2024, pre-high school grad. I was about to graduate, and I was having lots of hope for this year because there was a lot of change for me, and it was big, exciting change. I was going to move out of state, out of my hometown, my home vine, if you would. And I was going to be my own and be independent for once. And that's all I've ever wanted, being an adolescent tomato. I had a trip planned to a big city where I was going to go to school in because I got accepted to a school there. And it was around my 18th birthday, my tomato birthday. And I was going to go with my boyfriend at the time. It was such a dream when I think about it. Even though it was with him, I still look back at it really fondly because it was something that I've never gone through before. I've never seen anything like it and experienced anything like it. I even met up with a tomato friend I made online, and I think of her very highly. I'm glad I got to meet her in person though. It was really fun, the stuff we did together. And this was in March. Then moving on to April, I was just doing a lot of stuff for college and for scholarships. I got a couple, and then I got, all of my decisions back from schools in April. So very eventful, but not as eventful as May, where I graduated. And I wasn't really home much because I was at either grad parties or I was hanging out with friends before they left and, doing, extracurricular stuff outside of school. And I'm also a really big fan of music. I was in my tomato youth symphony, and I played an instrument there. I was a first violinist, and I had my last concert, but I was really sick, so sick that my head just felt so full and hot, not emotionally, but physically, and it was so heavy. And I don't know how I got in my last senior concert, but I regret being sick because I wanted to give my all. And I wanted to say goodbye to so many people because half of us were graduating. And, I wouldn't see most of them again. And I couldn't because I couldn't even talk because I was so sick. And that was going to be the last time I was going to see my friend because she was moving all the way down south. And I would never see her again. And I never really got to properly say goodbye to her, but we still talk to this day. Very sad for Tomato, I know. But then moving on to, June, where it was summer. I was making lots of money because I needed to save for, living on my own. And then my cousin, my favorite cousin, she came over to my tomato vine. And we spent lots of time together. It was really fun. We went outside a lot, and we actually went out into the mountains. And it was so peaceful. I felt so connected to nature, and I want to do it again this summer. But I have to wait for all the snow to melt, because it's not summertime yet. But I really can't wait to go back outside into, camping or hiking or doing stuff like that. I really miss it. Then, I was saying goodbye to everybody before I was leaving for school. I think the months before me leaving, it gave me a chance to get closer with my parents. Because me and my parents were never really close. We were pretty, I wouldn't say distant, but we never were really, close like how I wanted to be. But I think those few months before I left, I was able to get close with them, and we're on, really good terms. But then moving on to August, when I was supposed to leave, my financial situation with them was pretty tough because in the beginning half of the year, they weren't really cooperative with helping me. And then it was actually time to fill the stuff out of how I was going to pay for this school. And then I found out my parents, they have a really bad credit history. So I actually had no way of paying for this school, and I was really distraught. I was so desperate I even tried to look for private loans, and that didn't work because they still rejected our application. And my parents were pretty sad because they felt like they were the reason why I couldn't go to the school, and I feel bad for them for thinking that way. And it was just a tough month for me, the realization of how I wouldn't be able to do all this stuff with my friends as planned or live out this life that I imagined for myself. And I also met my roommate online through this pairing app, and she was so perfect. So she was literally me, but a different person. And we got along really well, and I still keep in touch with her to this day. But yeah, it was pretty tragic, and it made me realize these next few months were going to be very lonely, and I was right. After my boyfriend at the time left for school, because his school started pretty later, so September, I was alone. I didn't go to school. I transferred, but I was, I had to start a semester later, so spring semester, and I transferred to a school closer to me, by the way. And I wasn't working, I didn't go outside, and I basically cut a lot of people off. I didn't really talk to anyone, and I rarely talked to either any of my family members. It was really lonely, and it was really sad for me. And, at first, in the first few months, I tried, doing things that I liked. I played a lot of games, and I've read a lot, and I went on walks, and it looked like it was working at first, and I was really happy. And then I got, worse, and I stopped doing those things, and I stopped, going outside and reading. So I picked up pen paling, and now I have a lot of cute stationery. Because I was so lonely, I just started talking and writing to people all across the world. I don't really do it anymore, and I have a lot of letters I need to write. Because, things have just gotten really bad in December, not gonna lie. And, it was just getting gradually worse. But then my elementary school friends, they invited me out in November. And I haven't really talked to them since middle school, actually. But they still invited me out anyways, and I went. It was the best thing that I could have done for myself. I was so grateful that they reached out because they were really pulling me out of a rut. I didn't talk to anybody. I was so depressed. And it was such an eye-opener for me. Wow, this is how my life could be if I just changed it a little and talked to more people. So then after that, I was more social again. And I was getting better until December came. And then you know, it just got bad. I feel like maybe it's just because of the breakup stuff is why I feel like my December is pretty, you know, terrible. But I'm hoping that 2025 will be better and kinder to me. Yeah, it was a pretty eventful year. Now that it's New Year's Eve, I'm just reflecting on it. But I hope it's better for me in the future. Maybe I'll write a letter to my 19-year-old self that'll open next year in December. But yeah, this was just me kind of like shouting into the void. Happy New Year's, everyone. Love, Tomato.